1. Now is the time to focus on distribution rather than growth.
I agree. The declining economic growth rate is a cause for concern, but deepening income disparity is a greater issue.
2. Growth and distribution are like two sides of the same coin. Without growth, there is no distribution.
That makes perfect sense. We have to grow the pie first to share it.
3. We need a selective welfare policy that focuses on aiding those in genuine need.
But the administrative burden of selecting beneficiaries is quite heavy, and such programs may have blind spots. Considering overall efficiency, universal welfare might be the better approach.
4. It is necessary to provide a minimum standard of living to all members of society. Universal welfare is not wrong.
But universal welfare places a significant financial strain on the government. Hard-earned taxpayer money may not end up where it's truly needed.
5. There's a growing demand for greater welfare support.
But it is impossible to expand welfare programs without raising taxes. Sustainable funding is essential for any welfare expansion.
6. Improving the efficiency of government spending will secure money for expanding welfare.
I agree. Cutting unnecessary spending and removing duplicate programs could free up significant financial resources.
7. The government must play an important role in discovering new growth engines.
I'm not so sure. I believe the era of government-led development has passed.
8. New business opportunities are for companies to find, not for the government to create.
That's right. The government cannot match the agility of the private sector. However, infrastructure and regulations are shaped by the government, so its role remains crucial.
9. The gap between rich and poor has widened over the past decade.
Right. Higher GDP per capita doesn't mean that everyone's quality of life has improved. I think the main reason is the surge in asset prices.
10. The widening gap between rich and poor is a global phenomenon. Korea is not the only country experiencing the problem.
Yeah. It's a global phenomenon driven by technological advancements, soaring asset prices, and financial globalization.
11. If the minimum wage is raised sharply, small business owners will end up taking a hit.
Exactly. Higher labor costs will force the owners to cut staff or even shut down. That's why wage increases should be gradual.
12. The minimum wage is too low. It needs to be raised to ensure a minimum standard of living.
Correct. Current minimum wage isn't enough to sustain a living. Wages must reach a certain level to boost consumer spending and the overall economy.
13. By collecting more taxes from the rich, we need to increase welfare benefits for the poor.
The debate over tax increases versus tax cuts will never end. It's unlikely that either position will ever be definitively proven right.
14. Raising tax rates could reduce investment and further dampen economic activity.
Yes, raising tax rates doesn't necessarily guarantee higher tax revenue. If the tax burden becomes too heavy, businesses may cut spending or even relocate overseas.
15. If tax cuts are implemented, the trickle-down effect will also help low-income earners.
I agree. Lowering taxes would lead to more investment and job creation and ultimately boost the overall economy.
16. There is no concrete evidence that tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations benefit low-income earners.
Right. If tax revenue decreases, budgets for welfare and public services may shrink, which will harm low-income groups.
17. While platform providers make profits, job instability among platform workers is actually worsening.
But consumers are highly satisfied with platform services, and workers can easily find part-time jobs without the constraints of time and location.
18. Thanks to platforms, many workers easily find side jobs. Platform economy offers numerous advantages.
In platform-based work, stable income is not guaranteed. As competition intensifies, workers are pushed to accept lower wages. So, it's not entirely positive.
19. We need to expand telecommuting. Its flexible work hours definitely improve work-life balance.
I agree. Remote work also allows us to hire top talent regardless of location, and fewer commuters benefit the environment as well.
20. Working from home means non-face-to-face communication and low productivity. It's also difficult to improve teamwork.
That's true. Telecommuting isn't always good for workers. When the line between work and personal life gets blurry, it can be more exhausting.
21. Korea is aging fast. We should raise the retirement age to keep skilled seniors working.
I'm not so sure. Can senior workers truly adapt to the kind of change and innovation that companies need?
22. If the retirement age is extended, youth employment will further deteriorate. Conflict between generations will intensify.
Raising the retirement age doesn't mean companies will stop recruiting younger employees. It all depends on what the workers do.
23. We must promote the growth of industries such as the service sector to create job opportunities for young people.
That's right. Service-related fields are relatively easy for young individuals with limited career experience to enter. They can gain valuable work experience there.
24. Our taxes should not be used to support uncompetitive industries merely to create jobs for young people.
I agree. To provide sustainable employment for young job seekers, we need to help them enter high-tech industries.
25. We can't just leave everything to the market. The government needs to step in and actively work to create jobs and support new industries.
I agree. The free market cannot solve all problems. Long-term investments that shape the future must be led by the government.
26. Government intervention is likely to increase the fiscal burden and create inefficiencies in the long run.
That's right. It is market competition that ensures efficient resource allocation.
27. Real estate prices are too high. The government should actively implement policies to bring them down.
That's right. The government should intervene in the market by increasing taxes on multi-homeowners and tightening property loan regulations.
28. There is no example of government intervention contributing to the stabilization of the real estate market.
A web of complex factors affects the real estate market. Its issues cannot be solved by simple policies. The government has to be cautious in its intervention.
29. In order to protect local businesses, the mandatory closing of hypermarkets must be maintained.
The policy must be maintained to give even the smallest additional opportunities to small business owners.
30. Almost no one uses neighborhood shops on the mandatory closing days of hypermarkets. It's a system with little actual effect.
On the day, consumers postpone their shopping or order online. What happens is large supermarkets close for a day without any real benefits to small business owners.
31. There is a tendency in our society to overly criticize big business, as if it were the root of all problems.
These criticisms exist because monopolistic behavior and unfair trade practices by large corporations persist. If they operated transparently, such complaints wouldn't exist.
32. It is a legitimate criticism of large corporations' neglect of social responsibilities.
To survive in fierce global competition, large corporations are doing their best. They are not merely pursuing profits while avoiding public responsibility. They play a significant role in job creation and economic growth.
33. Labor and management should not just be in conflict, but should collaborate to achieve a win-win situation.
That's right. We need to move beyond outdated perspectives on labor relations. If disputes continue, everyone loses in the end.
34. It's natural that workers and employers have opposing interests, and therefore conflict arises.
Yes, but conflict isn't always negative. Through the process, working conditions can improve and business management can become more efficient.
35. During challenging market conditions, employers should be able to fire employees.
Laying off employees during an economic slowdown isn't a real solution. It can have negative consequences in the long run. Trying flexible work hours can be a better approach.
36. Companies should not be allowed to fire workers arbitrarily just because they are struggling to manage their business.
To preserve jobs, companies must survive first. When the economy recovers, they will naturally rehire.
37. Tariff increases and protectionism are inevitable to protect domestic industries.
I'm not so sure. We can't return to protectionism. Wouldn't it be crucial to find a balance between openness and protection?
38. Protectionist trade is an anachronism. It has already been proven that free trade brings more benefits.
I agree. Protectionism may have short-term benefits, but in the long run, it only weakens competitiveness.
39. Cryptocurrencies will overcome the limitations of traditional financial systems and emerge as the future of finance.
I agree. The conventional banking system is complex, and transaction fees are too high. That's why blockchain-based finance is gaining attention.
40. Cryptocurrencies' price volatility is very high, and there are still many risks.
Yes, extra caution is needed for short-term investments. Plus, there are little regulations to protect investors.
41. For Korea, a presidential system in which the president has strong leadership is more desirable.
That's right. We face urgent tasks such as reunification and economic growth. To achieve these, strong leadership based on the presidential system is needed.
42. Korea should also change to a cabinet system for more effective governance.
I agree. Under the presidential system, conflicts between the executive and the legislative branches can escalate. However, in the cabinet system, coordination between the two can be easier, as the prime minister is elected from the majority party.
43. The problem is that people only listen to the political views they like. They are completely indifferent to other ideas.
That's right. In particular, media platforms' algorithms reinforce biases by repeatedly recommending similar viewpoints.
44. It is more efficient to accept only the necessary information that can strengthen your beliefs, rather than being overwhelmed by too much information.
I agree. Reinforcing my own beliefs matters more to me. I don't think it's necessary to embrace every perspective.
45. I hate politicians because they only fight and have no intention of cooperating across party lines.
Conflicts arise when people with differing views try to coordinate. The conflict is a process of debate and competition that leads to better solutions.
46. Conflicts between political parties with different political ideologies are, in a way, natural.
Ideological differences don't justify constant conflict. Balance can be achieved through cooperation, but Korean politics doesn't work that way.
47. It is realistically impossible for unification to be achieved without the consent of the countries surrounding the Korean peninsula.
Well, some level of diplomatic coordination is necessary because interests of neighboring countries are closely intertwined. However, their approval cannot be considered a prerequisite for our reunification.
48. Unification is an issue for us, and we must achieve it on our own.
But international factors cannot be ignored. In particular, cooperation from neighboring countries is essential to ensure economic stability after reunification.
49. It's better to remain separate than to unify with North Koreans.
I agree. The two Koreas are fundamentally different. Rather than rushing toward reunification, the best approach is for both to develop independently while maintaining peace.
50. Although unification may present challenges for now, it remains essential, as the division occurred without our consent.
That's right. To fully restore our national identity and ensure lasting peace, reunification is a must.
51. North Korea's threats are all talk and no action.
I feel the same way. North Korea is unlikely to follow through on its threats under such heavy sanctions and pressure. Their threats are just political rhetoric that has no real chance of military action.
52. An actual armed conflict could break out at any time with North Korea.
That's right. With ongoing tensions, military conflict can occur anytime. North Korea has carried out numerous provocations in the past, so we need to stay alert constantly.
53. We must urge the US to station nuclear weapons here to deter North Korea's threat.
That's right. North Korea is already a nuclear-armed state, and the only way to counter nuclear threats is with nuclear deterrence. We need the redeployment to maintain military balance.
54. Redeploying US nuclear weapons to the Korean peninsula will increase tensions and provoke strong opposition from China.
That's right. Instead of strengthening South Korea's security, it will escalate diplomatic conflict and contribute to instability across Northeast Asia.
55. We should pursue engagement, not containment, with North Korea.
Well, engagement policies in the past failed. With North Korea continuing its nuclear development, strong sanctions and deterrence measures are more effective than engagement.
56. The only way to deal with North Korea is to find a way to overthrow its regime.
I think differently. The collapse of the North Korean regime would bring too much uncertainty. A more realistic approach is to work with the international community and gradually guide North Korea toward change.
57. The security benefits provided by US forces in Korea justify Korea taking on a greater share of the defense burden.
That's right. If South Korea takes on a greater share, the alliance will grow stronger.
58. The stationing of American troops is also beneficial to their own interests. It is not right to simply increase our burden.
That's right. The presence of U.S. troops helps strengthen their influence in Northeast Asia. Also, we are already carrying a heavy load.
59. We need to solve our security problems ourselves, rather than relying on the United States.
Well, the alliance with the U.S. isn't just about military support. It encompasses cooperation in technology, intelligence, and the economy. That's why the Korea-U.S. alliance is critical.
60. To deal with the powerful countries surrounding us, we need an alliance with the US.
Well, we can expand cooperation with other countries through multilateral diplomacy or strengthening our own defense capabilities. How much longer are we going to rely on the U.S. for national security?
61. We have an inseparable relationship with China on many levels. We need to cooperate with each other.
That's right. China is our key trading partner, and its role is crucial for our relationship with North Korea. Plus, Korean culture enjoys immense popularity in China.
62. There are no eternal friends or foes in the world of diplomacy. We should deal with China while considering our own interests.
That's right. In our relationship with China, we must enhance cooperation while remaining cautious. The key is the ability to effectively balance collaboration and competition.
63. I often get angry at China's self-centered and domineering attitude toward its neighbors.
That's right. China's self-centered approach and domineering attitude are frustrating, especially when it tries to exert excessive economic influence.
64. Rather than emphasizing China's negative aspects, we need to come up with measures for long-term cooperation.
That's right. China is also taking steps to contribute to global stability.
65. It will be difficult to maintain good relations with Japan until it reflects on its colonial rule and offers a sincere apology.
Well, historical issues are important, but our relationship with Japan also involves the economy, security, and culture. I believe future-oriented cooperation is essential.
66. We need to establish a more future-oriented relationship with Japan, rather than dwelling on the past.
My perspective is a bit different. Without addressing historical issues, building trust-based cooperation is impossible. Confronting and resolving these issues is the true starting point for a forward-looking relationship.
67. Korea is now a developed country and must play a suitable role in the international community.
That's right. We should allocate more budget to helping countries in greater need. We were helped by other nations when we were in need.
68. Korea still has many internal issues that need to be resolved. It is premature to play a large role in the international community.
I agree. with pressing domestic issues like economic polarization, youth unemployment, and low birth rate. Taking on an active role in the international community is still early.
69. Because getting married and starting a family is a huge financial burden. Young people choose to live alone.
Housing is unaffordable and childcare costs a lot. If you live alone, you can enjoy financial freedom and focus on self-development.
70. Starting a family and raising children is a fundamental aspect of human nature. Can financial concerns alone justify giving it up?
That's right. It's not just about money. If government policies support childbirth and childcare, the birth rate will turn around.
71. The extremely low birth rate is a serious problem. If this continues, Korea might disappear.
People say that if the current trend continues, the population will be cut in half within the next 60 years. To me, it doesn't seem likely. Recently, the birth rate has shown signs of a rebound.
72. I think the sharp decline in the birth rate is a temporary phenomenon. Over time, people's perceptions will change, and the rate will rebound thanks to policies that support childbirth.
A sharp recovery seems unlikely. The population decline looks inevitable.
73. Many young people believe that they must grow up in a wealthy environment to live a happy life.
Financial stability can help, but happiness comes from various factors such as relationships and health.
74. It's a reality that parents' financial power determines a child's success.
Financial support can help, but individual effort and environment are also crucial factors. Studies show that the correlation between parents' wealth and a child's success is weak.
75. College tuition is too expensive.
I agree. Many students face financial difficulties, and even after graduation, they struggle to repay their student loans.
76. If tuition is artificially lowered, the quality of education will decline.
I agree. Reducing students' financial burden is important, but universities need sufficient funding to operate. The government alone cannot cover all operational costs.
77. Children have to rely on private education to get ahead of other kids.
But private education doesn't necessarily guarantee success. Creativity and problem-solving abilities are difficult to cultivate through private tutoring alone.
78. Although private education is inevitable, Korean society's reliance on it is excessive.
We must acknowledge that private education complements public education. Rather than eliminating private education, a more realistic solution is to seek a balance between the two.
79. If there were more high-quality vocational high schools, the private education craze would decrease.
That's right. If vocational high schools improve career opportunities, competition for college admissions could diminish, and reliance on private education might decline as well.
80. The emphasis on academic achievement in Korean society will likely never fade, even if vocational high schools increase.
I think so too. In Korea, education has long been the key to success, and academic credentials will remain a key standard for evaluating individuals.
81. It's true that in Korean society, the university you attend determines your future.
That's right. Graduates from prestigious universities have advantages in finding jobs or getting promoted, and they enjoy greater social recognition.
82. There are many people who are recognized for their abilities and live well regardless of their academic background.
That's right. Many companies are increasingly valuing practical skills and creativity over academic credentials. Especially in tech firms and startups, talent and innovation have become the key factors for success.
83. Abortion should be allowed because a woman's right to decide about her own body should be prioritized.
That's right. Pregnancy directly impacts a woman's health and life, and denying the right to choose can be a violation of human rights.
84. A fetus is a life and abortion is murder.
That's right. A fetus should be recognized as a human being the moment its heart starts beating. Considering the dignity of life, The rights of the unborn must also be protected.
85. When it comes to dividing housework, Korea still has a long way to go.
That's right. Despite the increase in dual-income households, men still take on a smaller share of domestic labor. Raising social awareness is needed to ensure a fair distribution of household responsibilities.
86. In Korea, women are not the only ones responsible for housework. There are many families that pursue gender equality.
Exactly. Recent studies show that Korean men's participation in household labor has been steadily increasing. Many families split housework equally.
87. Korea now has many female executives. The glass ceiling problem is not so serious.
That's right. More and more companies are helping women grow in their careers and making sure they have fair chances to succeed.
88. Korea now has more female executives than in the past, but the percentage remains much lower compared to other OECD countries.
Exactly. Korea has one of the lowest rates of female managers among OECD countries. More efforts are needed to support women's careers and ensure fair opportunities.
89. Since the introduction of the parental leave system, many fathers also take advantage of it.
Even though parental leave is legally guaranteed, employees of small and medium-sized businesses face practical challenges using it. Reduced income during the leave is another problem.
90. Unlike civil servants, many parents working in the private sector have to be mindful of what others think. They should be able to use parental leave without feeling pressured.
The government offers financial support to encourage companies to provide parental leave. With increasing policy support, parental leave is expected to become more accessible.
91. Renewable energy alone cannot meet the rapidly increasing demand for electricity.
That's right. Due to the intermittent nature of renewable energy, ensuring a stable power supply can be difficult. While expanding renewable energy is important, we need to balance it wisely with traditional energy sources.
92. If we focus more on renewable energy, technological advances will lead to greater efficiency.
Right. The cost of solar and wind power has dropped significantly over the past few years. With active global investment in renewable energy, innovations for higher efficiency will accelerate.
93. A lot of scientific evidence has shown that greenhouse gas emissions by humans are the main cause of global warming.
That's right. But many people still deny these obvious facts and believe in conspiracy theories.
94. It is an exaggeration to ignore natural factors and say as if global warming is solely human responsibility. I suspect that those seeking influence in the energy sector may be deliberately overstating the issue.
Exactly. We shouldn't ignore that carbon emission restrictions benefit certain industries.
95. ESG investing is the trend. Companies that fail to lead in terms of environment, social contribution, and governance will be left behind.
That's right. It is no longer a matter of choice. Companies that are not ESG compliant will lose the trust of investors and consumers.
96. An excessive emphasis on ESG can hinder the growth of companies with great potential.
I agree. ESG compliance can be costly for startups and small businesses that have limited resources and workforce. Strict standards can weaken their competitiveness.
97. Many times, you have to choose the convenience and economy of disposable products.
I agree. Especially for hygiene reasons, single-use products are more practical. Medical instruments and food packaging are prime examples.
98. While cutting back on disposable products may cause some inconveniences, we need to think about the environment.
Exactly. Single-use products are convenient, but they increase plastic waste and negatively impact the environment.
99. You can't build a civilization without destroying nature at all.
That's right. It is impossible to fully preserve nature while building civilization. Instead of outright opposition, we should focus on sustainable development that minimizes environmental harm.
100. We must avoid reckless development. considering the harmful impact it has on nature.
That's right. Reckless development destroys ecosystems and threatens environmental sustainability. We must make every effort to preserve ecosystems in their natural state.
101. We need to spend more money on improving accessibility for people with disabilities.
Rather than simply increasing the budget, we should focus on optimizing existing resources and implementing targeted policies.
102. We must acknowledge the practical limitations of not being able to spend a lot of money on a limited number of disabled people.
Some may argue that support for a small group of people with disabilities is excessive. However, such support can enhance inclusivity and equity across society and lead to positive impacts for the broader population.
103. The idea of a single ethnic nation is a misconception. In today's world, no country sticks to the principle of pure blood.
That's right. Every nation has evolved by blending different ethnicities and cultures, and Korea is no exception.
104. Korea has maintained the tradition of being a single ethnic nation for a long time. We must make efforts to preserve that tradition.
I agree. Shared culture and language have formed a strong sense of community and contributed to Korea's development. The influence will continue to play an important role.
105. I think Korea needs to evolve into a multicultural society that demonstrates tolerance and diversity.
Multicultural shifts can bring new social issues. While looking for harmony with foreigners, it is equally important to preserve our traditions and national identity.
106. Many Koreans still prefer to remain a single ethnic nation. Multicultural policies should be pursued with caution.
However, in today's globalized world, many argue that Korea must move toward a more inclusive and open society. The transition to a multicultural model could help Korea become more competitive.
107. Since same-sex couples cannot marry and have biological children, they cannot be seen as forming a traditional family.
I agree. People say that adoption and surrogacy allow same-sex couples to raise children, but we should consider the emotional challenges that the children in these families might face.
108. Through adoption, in vitro fertilization, and surrogacy, same-sex couples can also form families with parents and children.
That's right. The definition of family is changing. What truly matters is that parents and children live together in a stable and loving environment.
109. The concept of family is evolving beyond the idea that a family must consist of biological parents and children.
I agree. What truly matters is not blood ties, but the love shared among family members. Any family built on mutual respect and care can serve as a healthy community, whether it follows a traditional or non-traditional structure.
110. It is natural for a family to consist of biological parents and children.
That's right. A biological bond between parents and children leads to deep emotional connections. This strong bond provides children with a sense of emotional stability.
111. If homosexuality conflicts with your religious or family values, you may not accept it.
I agree. People who prioritize religious beliefs or family values may find it difficult to accept homosexuality. Their perspectives also deserve respect.
112. Personal beliefs should be respected, but they cannot be the basis for justifying social discrimination.
That's right. A person's right to hold certain beliefs or values should not be grounds for excluding or discriminating against certain groups.
113. There is no reason why two consenting adults in a relationship should not have the same rights as others because of their sexual orientation.
I agree. Marrying the person you love is a fundamental human right and should be respected regardless of sexual orientation.
114. Same-sex couples' rights must reflect social and ethical factors, not just personal agreement.
That's right. Laws and policies should take into account the interests of diverse groups. The rights of same-sex couples should be shaped within this framework.
115. Heinous crimes are on the rise, By executing the perpetrators, we must show that justice is served.
I'm not sure. Life imprisonment without parole can permanently remove criminals from society. Is it truly necessary to enforce the death penalty, despite the controversy surrounding its inhumane nature?
116. The death penalty doesn't deter crimes. It is right to abolish the death penalty to prevent even a single wrongful execution.
But think about the victims' families. The death penalty is the only way to ease their pain and uphold justice.
117. An atmosphere that places excessive emphasis on appearance makes many women feel pressured to get plastic surgery.
Not all women feel that way. Many people value personal uniqueness and competence more than good looks.
118. Nobody pressures people to get plastic surgery. It's just a matter of personal choice.
I'm not so sure. The media constantly reinforces specific beauty standards. Moreover, appearance plays a bigger role in workplaces and social interactions. This suggests that the pressure exists.
119. An attitude that focuses only on appearance can also be another form of discrimination.
That's right. Beyond appearance, one's capabilities and personality are equally important. Our society must shift away from an appearance-centered mindset and move toward respecting diversity.
120. It's a reality that people with great looks get better jobs and earn more money.
That's right. As people are influenced by first impressions, there are certainly situations where good appearance is an advantage.
121. Child sex offenders should be punished very severely, especially if they are repeat offenders.
Considering the lasting consequences for victims, child sex crimes are among the worst offenses. Strict enforcement is essential, and repeat offenders should face even tougher penalties.
122. Punishment should be proportional to the crime. The principle that excessive punishment must be avoided applies equally to child sex offenders.
Sentencing must remain fair, even in cases of child sex crimes. We should also remember that punishment aims to prevent repeat offenses and promote rehabilitation.
123. Content that may have a harmful influence on teenagers should be regulated.
Yes, we should set up standards to prevent them from being indiscriminately exposed to violent or inappropriate material.
124. The criteria for harmfulness are too vague. We should respect free expression, and parents should guide children.
That's right. Excessive regulation can suppress artistic expression. Instead of relying on legal restrictions, active involvement and guidance from parents can be more effective.
125. So many teenagers are overly addicted to games. There should be regulations to limit excessive gaming.
But studies suggest that the causes of excessive gaming go beyond the games themselves. Personal environment and psychological factors also play a role. Blaming games alone is an oversimplification.
126. How much one plays games is a matter of personal choice and not a problem that can be solved by government regulation.
Adolescents have not fully developed their self-restraint skills yet. Establishing guidelines for gaming and helping them build healthy habits are necessary.
127. There are many studies that show that violent video games are making teenagers more violent.
I agree. If you are exposed to violent games repeatedly, you can be desensitized to violence and become more aggressive. It's a valid concern.
128. There is little evidence that violent games make teenagers more violent.
That's true. Many studies suggest that gaming can serve as a way to relieve stress and help people connect with others.
129. Children can suffer from depression or withdrawal symptoms due to excessive smartphone use. The amount of time they spend on their smartphones should be limited.
That's right. Given the extensive research on the negative effects of smartphones, establishing guidelines to limit screen time is necessary.
130. Instead of trying to take smartphones away from our children, we need to teach them how to use them wisely.
That's right. Smartphones are valuable tools for learning and gathering information. It's crucial to help children develop self-discipline in using them.
131. The best way to protect children from smartphone addiction is for parents to be role models.
Right. If parents set an example by moderating their smartphone use and prioritizing family conversations and activities, children will develop healthy digital habits.
132. It's not realistic for parents to cut back on their screen time in order to reduce their children's smartphone use.
That's right. Rather than simply reducing their own screen time, parents should help children set their own rules and keep them.
133. We need a policy to regulate hate speech that abuses anonymity online.
Well, freedom of expression is a fundamental value in a democratic society, and any regulations restricting it must be carefully considered. There is always a risk of excessive restrictions.
134. We need to be careful about regulating expression online to prevent innocent victims.
However, overly protecting freedom of expression can increase the risk of allowing hate speech or violent content to spread freely. The harm caused by such neglect can be significant.
135. The government can monitor individuals' internet activities to protect citizens from crime and terrorist attacks.
Considering the growing threats of crime and terrorism in cyberspace, the government's surveillance is inevitable.
136. The government may invade online privacy under the pretext of public safety.
That's right. As technologies advance, surveillance methods for personal data are becoming more sophisticated. Understandably, concerns are growing that governments may collect more personal information.
137. I think that for K-pop to become truly mainstream, it needs to add more depth and diversity.
K-pop is already mainstream. It continues to absorb various genres and styles, and many fans appreciate its depth.
138. I believe K-pop already has enough depth and diversity.
However, some believe that there is still room for growth. In particular, many hope to see K-pop explore more philosophical or socially conscious themes in its lyrics.
139. K-pop's popularity has already peaked.
Its growth may seem to be leveling off, but K-pop continues to exert strong global influence with its ever-expanding fanbase. There is still room for it to evolve further as a cultural phenomenon.
140. The K-pop fever will never cool down.
K-pop continues to evolve, but if it repeats its old formula for commercial success, fans may lose interest. Without fresh musical experimentation, its momentum could fade.
141. K-pop stars look the same, and their songs sound very similar. That's why they're sometimes called cookie-cutter stars.
The emphasis on visual appeal has contributed this trend. Also, because K-pop idols undergo rigorous training before debut, harmony seems to be prioritized over individuality.
142. Although K-pop stars may look similar, there are subtle differences.
That's true. A closer look reveals that each group has distinct characteristics. Even when they share similar concepts, there are unique details that set them apart.
143. Overly commercial films with large capital investments are hindering diversity and the development of the film industry.
However, blockbuster movies drive technological innovation and contribute to the overall growth of the film industry. Their revenue often support independent films.
144. Blockbusters have their role, and independent films have theirs. Many audiences still want commercial movies.
However, meeting audience expectations for blockbusters can limit cinematic diversity. When profitability takes priority, innovation and experimentation may take a back seat.
145. With the growth of OTT platforms, movie theaters may disappear.
I sort of agree. Thanks to OTT platforms, people can now watch movies anytime, anywhere. We can also enjoy high-quality video and audio at home. These changes have contributed to a decline in theater attendance.
146. The number of movie theaters may decrease, but they will not disappear.
Sure, thanks to large screens and immersive environment, the advantage of watching movies in theaters will never disappear. Technologies like 4DX and IMAX make movie theaters more unique and special.
147. Historical inaccuracies in films and TV series are widespread. Viewers can absorb misleading information about the past.
Exactly. The inaccuracies can cause misunderstandings, especially among younger generations and foreign viewers.
148. Audiences understand that historical films are fiction. Excessive criticism about historical inaccuracies is not right.
I agree. Movies and dramas often spark interest in history. Besides, is perfect historical accuracy even possible?
149. Streaming services and digital singles don't provide enough revenue to creators.
That's true. The revenue from streaming is extremely low, and musicians can't sustain their creative work. The revenue structure should be reformed to ensure fair compensation for creators.
150. Music creation similar to the old LP and CD era is no longer possible. Streaming and digital singles is the standard format now.
Music consumption has shifted toward individual tracks rather than full albums, and releasing tracks through streaming platforms has become the norm. Musicians must adapt to this changing landscape.
151. Just like ordinary people, celebrities' privacy should also be protected.
But the public is naturally curious about celebrities' private lives. Celebrities live on public attention. Can't they share some aspects of their personal life?
152. The public's curiosity about celebrities is natural.
The problem is that the curiosity becomes excessive and invades their privacy. Ultimately, finding the right balance between public curiosity and individual rights is important.
153. Celebrities are constantly in the public eye, so they need to make an extra effort to behave properly.
Exactly. Public admiration comes with responsibility. They should be aware that every action they take can significantly influence the public.
154. Celebrities can make the same mistakes as other people. It's not right to judge them too harshly.
I agree. Even minor mistakes are exaggerated or distorted, causing intense public criticism. The constant pressure to be perfect can make it harder for celebrities to be honest in front of the public.
155. Since celebrities' political voices can have a greater impact, they should be careful when expressing their opinions.
That's true. A celebrity's political statements can play a significant role in shaping public opinion. While their stance can have a positive impact, it can also spark controversy.
156. Celebrities, as voters, also have the right to say what they believe is right or wrong.
Restricting public figures from expressing their political views would be another form of limiting freedom of expression. Also, celebrities can play a crucial role in delivering important messages to the public.
157. In the age of social media, anyone can become famous through effort. There are now more opportunities to become a celebrity.
That's true, but competition has become much fiercer. While it's easier to rise to fame, maintaining it demands even more strategy and dedication.
158. You can become famous in a flash, but the fame won't last long. Ordinary people may not be able to handle fame.
Well, recently, there have been many examples of long-term success. Some individuals who gained fame through social media have launched their own brands or expanded into other fields.
159. A lot of the information on social media is exaggerated. Be careful.
Social media enables the rapid distribution of information, but exaggerated or unverified content also spreads fast.
160. I can find a lot of useful information on social media that I couldn't get in the past when I only relied on old media.
That's right. In a way, every user is a content creator, which means social media can deliver real-time information faster than traditional media.
161. It's great to be able to connect with so many people through social media.
But it feels too much sometimes. The pressure that I have to be constantly available can be mentally exhausting.
162. Social media makes us share too much, which can be exhausting.
That may be true, but ultimately, it depends on how we use it. There's no need to share everything. By selectively consuming necessary information, we can maximize its benefits while minimizing fatigue.
163. As media diversifies, the risk of spreading misinformation also increases. New media such as YouTube should also be subject to regulation.
The spread of misinformation and fake news through new media has become a serious issue. Many creators produce sensational content to attract clicks, so regulation is necessary.
164. Even with the changing media environment, the principle of respecting freedom of expression should not change.
Absolutely. With more diverse voices being heard, freedom of expression has expanded. As these voices enrich our society, any restrictions on free speech must be approached with caution.
165. The possibility of human migration to Mars is very low. There is no need to invest a lot of money in a project that is not feasible.
I agree. Pouring that budget into more practical areas, such as environmental protection or solving social issues, would be a wiser use of resources.
166. Exploring Mars is something worth trying now, for the distant future.
Mars exploration isn't just about studying another planet. It's a journey to discover how humanity might sustain itself longer in the universe. Plus, the scientific discoveries we find along the way could be highly valuable.
167. The day will eventually come when humans take their hands off the steering wheel.
I don't know. A fully autonomous driving still faces numerous challenges. Road conditions contain unpredictable variables, and legal and ethical issues remain unresolved.
168. Autonomous driving technology will never be fully commercialized due to liability issues surrounding accidents.
Laws and regulations are evolving to support full autonomous driving, and many countries are establishing new standards to work out solutions. Full commercialization is only a matter of time.
169. Biotechnology will provide many opportunities for patients suffering from chronic or incurable diseases.
That's true. Advances in gene editing are enabling more effective, personalized treatments. Biotechnology also speeds up the development of new drugs.
170. We need to think about the ethical issues that biotechnology may raise. I worry that scientists are trying to play God.
I agree. With the advancement of gene editing and personalized treatments, altering human individuality is a possibility. We need to have serious discussions about where to draw the line.
171. As new infectious diseases appear, vaccines should be used as a technology for the benefit of all of humanity.
Absolutely. Vaccines are vital assets that help protect society as a whole. We need to make sure that regions with limited healthcare also have equal access to vaccines.
172. If vaccine developers who invest huge amounts of money in research cannot make a profit, no one will put in the effort.
That's true. Without profit incentives, development of vaccines could be delayed, potentially putting public health at risk. In the worst case, humanity as a whole could suffer.
173. AI will eliminate many jobs and make human life more difficult.
When new technologies emerge, they also create new job opportunities. So, we cannot simply conclude that life will become more difficult because of AI.
174. As AI-related industries flourish, new jobs will be created in the field. The disappearance of existing jobs is only a temporary and inevitable phenomenon.
New jobs may be created, but many people will likely lose their positions. Reemployment won't be that easy. Labor market will become more unstable.
175. As AI technology continues to advance, machines will enslave humans and rule the world.
Since AI is ultimately designed and managed by humans, it's likely to evolve in a controlled and manageable way.
176. AI technology will continue to develop while appropriate measures are taken to regulate its risks.
But regulations often struggle to keep up with the rapid advancement of technology. The risk of AI being misused is ever present.